Yo, let me turn on a little music real quick, man. Can you hear that?
I can hear it a little bit.
Yeah, I don't need it too loud.
Yeah.
I be needing my music to vibe with though. But yeah, so people that's coming in, y'all come on, tap on in. Today I got Yvette Mcgill with me. She represents the exchange, but she is also one of the ladies that is going to be teaming up with me and actually will be on the board of Closing a Dream as we move forward in the mission to reach the youth in Galveston County. That's the main goal, to reach the youth in Galveston County. And so the reason that I brought Yvette on is because Yvette is in at Blocker. She's over at Blocker. I'm over at Giles Middle School, right? And so just in conversation, me and her having conversation, we talking about this and we talking about that, but it always comes back around to things that we're seeing that's going on in the school, whether that's administrative, teachers, or kids. It's stuff all which way. But we was talking because we get like a non-biased view because we're there at work, right? So we're not like a teacher. I'm not like a teacher. I come there, I'm doing a male's mentorship group, right? So I'm contracted in. She's a para. So introduce yourself, Yvette. Tell them what you do, all of that.
And a quick synopsis, it would be, again, my name is Yvette Denise Mcgill, hashtag the exchange. I'm an author, motivational speaker. I have 3 businesses. I teach anger management, domestic violence, parenting, and theft classes for Galveston County Court. I also have an air freshener and perfume business. But what we're on here today to talk about is the fact that I am a paraprofessional in one of our public schools here in our county. And I'm alarmed, as always, those of you all that watch me know, I'm constantly bringing to you all the things that I'm seeing in the school that's right, wrong, and indifferent, begging y'all to please save your children. Help us save your children. We're not saying you can do it alone, but we also can't do it alone. And so we wanted to jump on and talk about some things that could possibly help you all turn things around for your children in this second semester. They have one more semester of this school year to finish well. And so we want to help you all do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think one of the number one things that I think I would really touch on just right off the bat, if I say if you had one thing, what would that one thing be that you say, hey, this needs to stop? The all the way out blank disrespect. Like they have no respect at all. Will look you in your face, cuss you out, and walk away. And I'm like, wait a minute. I got my youngest son is 21 years old. And I'm not, so I go and I say, hey, wait a minute. Have I done anything to you to warrant that kind of behavior? What have I done to you to get that? You feel me? Like, is this just what you just give everybody when you want to give it to them just because? Or do certain people get it for certain reasons? And if it's that reason, I ain't done nothing to you. Why is you cussing? You know what I'm saying? And I kind of start working and getting to the root of it, like.
And then they find out they're mad legitimately for various reasons, but it shouldn't be directed to you. But unfortunately, this is what they see in the home. So this is what they project to us when they get to the school. And if we be completely honest, a lot of the stuff that we get is because of stuff that happened at the house before they got to the schoolhouse. Lack of communication, lack of sleep. They wasn't forced. And I use the word force because they at that age where you got to force them. I just had to force my grandson the other night. Go to bed.
Yeah.
They stay up if you let them, but you got to constantly show authority over that situation. So make them go to bed where they're getting enough sleep so they don't come to school tired and grouchy and hungry. If you're not going to feed them, I say it all the time. I don't know. I had a child just say the other day, he didn't know that breakfast was free. And I'm like, how you didn't know that? He said, I never knew. He was telling me he was hungry. I'm like, go in the cafeteria and get you something. He said, I don't have no money. I said, you don't need money to eat breakfast. So I don't understand why this information is not out here enough. I don't believe it's the fault of the school district, because they definitely spread the information. But some way the parents dropping the ball. Like, if you're not a morning person, you don't feel like getting up scrambling no eggs or pouring no milk, then get up in enough time to get them to school so they get that breakfast.
Say, listen, check this out, right? So you see how you had just said that you never know. They bring a lot of what go on at home to the school. That's why they already be like, right? So I was talking to the principal at Haley Elementary, right? I say, let me give you an example. I want you to hear me very well, right? You're 8, 9 years old with a 13-year-old brother, right? That's supposed to be watching you. Mama at the club. It's 2:28, 2:30 in the morning. Your brother been caking on the phone all night. You playing this game and you out the way. You ain't bothering nobody. So guess what? Nobody messing with you. But you at 8, 9 years old, that is not your responsibility to know that, hey, you got to go to bed at this time, because this is why you got to go to bed at this time, because you got to get up. They don't understand responsibility and all of that yet. So as a parent, we have to take that on so they'll know we got to be there and show them, right? So 2:30 come, what he do? He hurry up, turn the game off, fall asleep. Unbeknownst to him, mama done brought somebody home from the club, right? 8:30 come. He wake up and it's bright outside. So what does that tell you? I missed the bus already, right? Because when I get up out of here and leave, it's dark. So now I'm at my mama's door, who don't have no car. Now she got to make a decision. Because one thing I know too for sure, you ain't staying here. You ain't staying here, right? So one of the decisions I got to make is, am I going to call my mama to come and take him? Am I going to walk and take him? Because I don't got no car, right? And I really don't want my son to know who I got in my house, right? Because I don't really do all the meeting people that I don't do. I got that much integrity where I ain't letting everybody meet my child, right?
Right.
So what decision do I make? Now, because I got to make these decisions, I'm in the room. You know what time you got to get up. You always missing this GD bus, and woo, you going and you hollering at this kid and you cussing at him. So guess what? Breakfast is a no, because you trying to just get him up out of there. So he ain't finna eat nothing right now, right? You finna figure out how you gonna get him to this school. So when he do get to this school, the last he heard is you cussing him out, you know what I'm saying? And you mad at him, and now he's taking this into the classroom, and now you're saying, I thought I told you to sit down. Right?
Yeah. Right. All he knows is his stomach growling, and he pissed off about. Listen. And don't forget, if he messed around and forgot to pick up that cell phone out that bedroom and bring it with him, so he on a whole nother level. He ain't got no communication with his gal, his friends.
None of that. So look, check this out. Check this out. So then I tell him like this. You got to understand, at some point, right? Us as a people, we have to understand that we are all in this together. We got, right? We all in this community. It's not even 200,000 people in between Galveston, Tech City, Lamar, and Hitchcock. Like, really, it's really we all know each other, right? So these are the same kids that are working at the schools with people that we know, right? And what I tell them, what if your mom came home crying, right? Because a kid done to her what some of y'all do to some of these teachers, and the kid like, I'll do this, I'll fight, and I get it. Do you realize that it's people that love those people, right? And the parents, they get mad and come up there and just handle these people any kind of way in front of the kid a lot of times. How do you expect your kid to respect anybody after that, man? I'm just asking. That's a real question.
Yeah, it is. One of the questions I often ask my parents when doing parenting classes, like, if you constantly talking about how you hate your job, you disrespect your boss, or you sitting on the phone with your girlfriend saying they said to wear blue pants today, I ain't wearing no blue. And children listening to that, then that's why they think it's okay not to follow any simple rules we give them about. The teacher may say she want all her work in black ink, and I ain't writing no black, but they realize that we projecting that type of behavior on them when they listen to our conversations with our friends. We into their game or they watching TV, but they listening to that and they like, my mama don't have to listen to nobody. My mama don't have to respect nobody. So why should I? Which takes it back to what I be telling the children in after school detention. All your life, you're going to have to follow rules. I don't care who you are. The president of the United States has to follow rules. Everybody in life got to follow rules. One of the greatest examples I give them, as much as I love to travel, when I get on these airplanes to go to speaking engagements, I got to do with that airplane. If I don't keep that seatbelt on, when they say keep it on, they're waiting on the other side of that airplane when they open that door to handcuff me for not following rules. When I go to speak, if they tell me I can only speak for 30 minutes or 45 minutes, or I can only talk about this, that, and the other, I got to follow rules. My whole understanding is you got to follow rules everywhere you go in life.
Everywhere.
Definitely in prison. So why would you want to go to prison and have to follow rules and be confined to that life when you can follow rules out here and enjoy life?
And that's what and listen, man, because so like at the end of the day, right, a lot of them, they don't really understand like how much their choices affect everything in life. Like, matter of fact, our group this week, we actually taught on conflict resolution. So this week's week 4 was on effective communication, right? And one of those modules in effective communication is conflict resolution. And so you have to learn how to resolve conflict in a peaceful manner, like everything. And so when we doing it, and I'm talking to him, and we had a scenario of, one of the scenarios is a kid walks by, steps on the dude's shoe. He got 2 options, right? When he turned around and he said, hey, man, why you step on my shoe? You got 2 options. You can say, hey, man, that's my bad. I ain't mean to step on your shoe. Or you can say, well, you don't need to be, and get aggressive and not realizing us as men, that's our #1 love language is respect. And so when you start learning to respect people, you know what one of them kids told me? That's not SOB. I said, what's SOB? He said, that's not standing on business. I said, well, hey, listen. I say, listen. I said, are you making any money? He said, no. I said, well, that's not a business you standing on.
Hey, so much in class. I can't wait till we get back so I can reframe that to them how you just said it. Because, baby, that's like,
hey, man, you talking about you standing on business. Is it making some money? Well, you're not standing on no business then, man. A business make money. That's what's wrong with y'all. Y'all standing on all these non-principled things that ain't gonna help you get or do nothing, man. It's not gonna benefit you nothing but a whole bunch of heartache and pain and stress on other people because you ain't brought now bean in there. You ain't brought a tube of toothpaste in there. You feel me? But you got a nerve. Listen, man, listen. The other day, I was sitting here and I totally forgot about the what's the name that they was having at the Baptist church. And one of my buddies texted me, said, hey, Doc, man, you know they voted on you. I mean, you got an award. Where you at? And I'm like, oh, man, I totally forgot. So I put on some clothes and I shot down there, right? So after it's over with, we all coming out and I see some kids from the school. 2 of them.
Right.
And they sisters and brothers. The little girl, she a darling, just as sweet as you can be. And the little boy, he got a mouthful on him. But the coldest part about it, he in the 7th grade acting like he a little girl though. And got a mouth. I mean, like, ooh. So I see him and I see the lady, I know her. She like, hey, Doc, how you? I'm so proud of you. I be watching your videos. I said, these your babies right here? She said, nah, that's my grandson. I said, oh, okay. Because I know her. And I know she don't play, right? She said, yeah, that's son. And she pointed out her son, and I knew her son, right? I said, oh, yeah, I work over there at Giles with them. I said, oh, Mr. Man right here got a mouth on him. She
Right.
say, oh, yeah, I be hearing that. I said, well, listen, I ain't going to lie to you. He got, and listen, I know his voice too, right?
Right.
And he just looking at me, kind of grinning at me. I say, I know you cussing me out in your head. I say, but I don't care. I say, because you know what? This is just how God do it. This is how God work. God let me do this right here in the church house. Because God got a call on your life. He got a purpose for you, man. I say, and I know right now, this is the last place you ever expected to see Mr. Amy, huh? And I told him the truth. I kept it real with him. And she said, oh yeah.
I tell him all the time, you might not remember my name, but you're going to remember these conversations when you land in a luxury bed or the penitentiary bed. Whichever bed you make your life in, God let you remember my voice. I say, you may not remember my name, but you're going to remember my voice. You're going to remember these conversations. You're going to remember these warnings because they're not really coming directly from me. They're coming indirectly from God. He's trying to help you.
Yeah. And we all had those warnings, those indirect warnings, right?
Still get them in life because I tell them, I'm not perfect. I still screw up. I still make mistakes, but I've lived to get to this place. You may not get to where I am. And so many of children my age didn't make it to 56 because they kept doing the wrong thing.
Right.
In the waters, kept pushing it a little bit further and a little bit further. You stepped on the first step when they say stay on the porch. Then you went to the next step. Then you jumped completely off the porch, like Kathy Baldwin says in her chapter, jumped off the porch at 15. So, I mean, constantly warning them. But I really want to talk to the parents. I love talking to the children, but I really to the parents.
No, that's because you got to understand at some point that is where it all starts at, because being at that school, we only have them for a certain amount of time, right? But they got these phones in their face. They are in grown folks' conversations. Hey, listen, man. I can remember when I was coming up, when them grown folks was in there having a conversation, and when you walked in there and they looked at you, that meant go where you going or go back outside. But you not finna, listen, man. I done been in places and I see them talking in front of these kids. And guess what? The kids think because I ain't in earshot of what's being said that I can respond to what's going on.
Yep.
And they letting them do it.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh my God, are you for real?
Or argue with you, because there's times a teacher has asked me something in front of a child about a situation not having to do with that child. And the child will answer before me, and I'm like, are they talking to you? Or are they talking to me? But I know the answer. And be all this, but I know the answer. I say, that's not the point. He directly said, Mrs. Mcgill, whatever. And they be like, but you was taking too long. I knew the answer, so why does it matter? I'm like, yeah. I say, back in the day, your face would have still been stinking. And they say, even when I tell them how we used to get paddled in school, they like, I wish somebody would paddle me. I say, honestly, you gonna wish somebody had paddled you.
Listen, man, they have no fear.
No,
they have no fear. They not. But here's the thing, though. They have no fear when they're around everybody else. I done saw a couple of them get one-on-one and you really talk to them and you can see, man, you're not even really built like that, man. Why is you doing that? And so
but that
the illusion is being made really at home because you have so many parents nowadays trying to live something that's not real. And you got the kids following suit and they watching and they're not listening to what you're telling them no more. You can't just tell me not to do something and I'm going to do it.
Right.
I'm watching you.
That's funny you would say that because when you told me to make a few bulletin points about what we was going to talk about, the first thing that came to my mind and I jotted down is you can, but you can't. You can tell me not to do something, yet you do something else, but it's not going to give you or me the results we want in the end. In other words, as a parent, I'm going to suffer the consequences too of me doing opposite in front of you of what I'm telling you to do.
Right.
You know, doing our parents could say, you bet not, and they would all the while they be doing it. That kind of works back then. That don't work no more. You got to walk the walk too. You can't tell your children, don't go to school and cuss out adults. Be respectful, but they never see you showing respect. One of the things I do every year with my mother and daughter conference is I have two girls stand back to back and I write out a list of things and they take turns reading it. So one little girl says, when I saw you stealing money out of my daddy's pocket while he was asleep, this is how I learned to steal and be unfaithful. Then the other little girl says, when I saw you giving the neighbors the last of our leftover food, this is how I learned to be generous and trust God for tomorrow. So what I'm getting you to see is what you give them is what they go out there and become. And that's what you get in the end too. Like you can't give or create a disrespectful child or do all these things in front of your children and don't think this stuff not going to come back to bite you and them and generations to come. That stuff is harder to break than it is to not do it at all. Like just reevaluate your life. I mean, that's my story. I had to reevaluate. As much as I love certain people in my life, there were things they were doing in front of me that was just not conducive to the lifestyle I said I wanted.
Yeah.
So start it from scratch and focus on people. I liked how women dealt with their children at various ages. I liked that I saw older women in the church have relationships with their grown children, which means they must have had a pretty good relationship raising them for them to want to be around them.
And so,
hint, clue.
So one of my main things is, you know, growing up, like, you know, my biological father was murdered when I was 6 months old. And so I didn't really have no male figure like that. And so I was kind of raised by the streets, just kind of being out there, you know what I'm saying? Right. And so growing up like that, when I started having kids when I was 17 years old. I was young having kids. And babies having babies, man, and I'm just going and coming, and I didn't even really know who I was coming and going, you feel me? And so I didn't really understand all of that. And so growing up, not really being there for my kids, you know, still having this guilt and this hurt, and they're having their pain and frustration, and it's not being able to come together, that hurted me for a long time. And even now, sometimes a little bit, I'm being convicted of the man who I was when I am doing the best that I can as the man I am today, because that man is dead and gone. I'm a whole new man. And so that's why I feel obligated to reach out to these kids and show them, and reach out to a lot of the parents to try to show them that, man, listen, at some point you have to start taking some real self-evaluations of your life and start determining, where do you really want to go? Where do you, because if you don't know where you're going, you're going to end up anywhere. You feel me? And all it's going to continually be is just a revolving door that goes nowhere. Like, it's some people that I know that I talk to, like I was talking to my partner and we was talking, he said, Doc, you got to start talking to people as if they don't know. Because some people just don't really know, because the information that they have been getting have not been in that area where they need to be able to go to it. They just, you know, they do this. This is what they're comfortable with. This is, they you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's so much more. But until we start saying, hey, you know what? We need to reach the parents. We need to get the parents to see you're going to need people like me and you who say, hey, even so, man, we love the kids. We got to start figuring out a way that we can get to the root cause and show people that at some point people got to start saying it don't matter. Because you know what? A lot of people always say, well, it's not my kid, not my kid. And I say, okay, well, that's cool.
Y'all problem.
And it may not directly affect your household, right?
But indirectly,
but at some point, it's going to indirectly affect your household. This may be the same kid that if not reached, snatch your wife's purse when she coming out of Walmart because y'all arguing, or introduce your kid to drugs or get your kid pregnant, anything. These are the same kids that's growing up in our neighborhood, and at some point, somebody got to put their hands on them and say, hey, listen, let's figure out what we can do to get you on the path that we know that it can get you somewhere, man.
Right.
They just don't know.
Well, the one of my other lessons I do in anger management is common sense ain't so common. It's only common to the extent that you know it. It's quite possible, Doc, for me and you to have grown up next door to each other, went to the same school, went to the same church. We played together a lot, but still experience life differently within our private homes, and then go off to life and just say, for instance, we wind up getting together, wind up being married. And even though we next door and all that, you may have been raised to, when your mama them said wash dishes or clean the kitchen, you just wash the dishes, put them in the drain board, put them up. I was over here being raised that when they say wash dishes, they mean wash them, dry, put them up, sweep the floor, mop the floor, wipe down the counters, all of that. It's not that you right or wrong, but we were raised different. What's common to me ain't common to you. But how do we figure out how to live together in this world without continuing to destroy each other out of a word we call disrespect? Common sense is only common to the extent that you know it. So it's quite possible. Biggest example was my daughter first year in college. Her and this girl, I don't know because I didn't get a chance to go to college, but I helped her fill out the form where they say you pick all the things you like and dislike. So they put you in the room with the most likable person, the same person that you may be majoring with, all this kind of stuff. They had one common thing. The young lady wasn't taught to take a bath on a daily basis. She said, I just wasn't raised to take a bath every day. Don't make her better than my daughter. Don't make my daughter lesser than her. But they were definitely different in that area, and it caused a problem in the room that they were sharing. So that's one of the things we got to get people to understand. I'm real huge on that common sense is only common to the extent that you've been exposed to it. And all of us have not been exposed to the same thing. How you raising your children could be totally different from when I'm raising my children. But if how you raising them is not giving you what you want, you like for the school to be calling you every day on your job. You like to come home to voicemail saying your child wasn't in third period, fourth period, sixth period. If you don't like that, then you need to change what's common in your home.
Yeah, hey, listen, man, I'm not gonna even lie, bro. Like, honest to God, truth, man. I don't even like to be in the hallways whenever they release for class, man. It's like a bunch of wild animals just breaking out their cages and they running and they screaming, and it's like,
oh, I do, because that's when you get the best information, baby. I hear all kinds.
Oh yeah, I didn't say I don't be out there.
No,
I said
out there.
That's when you see everything.
Because they don't even know. They just be running their mouth and don't even know they be telling on themselves. They just
they got it so bad. Listen, all you got to do is listen. And they be going at it. They don't even realize you standing there, and they all got their head down in the phone looking, and they talking until one of them say, and they see you standing there. By that time, you got all the information.
Every time.
But hey, you want me to tell you something though, man? They are some of the most extraordinary young people that I've ever saw, because they think
out of the, oh my God, potential. But what
makes they think the way that they think and their comebacks and where they're quick on their feet, and you can tell that they're not dumb kids. They're just channeling it and focusing it on the wrong thing.
Right.
So that's where we come in.
Yep.
And that's when we're going to get to present to them the closing the dream Dream Center. We're gonna make it happen for them, man. But you want me to tell you what I think gonna give us the best dynamic?
What?
Because I believe a lot of these schools that's around here, honestly, when you start putting true leadership of people from here, for here, and they're able to really, because when I was at Haley Elementary, man, them people used to call me down there, Miss McAdams. I wish she was on here. She'll come in and tell you. She'll call me down there, and I'll sit in the office whenever they had a teacher-parent thing. And I'll look the parent in the face and tell them, yeah, no, everything that they say he did exactly that. And the parent will look at me and say, oh, I know him. He ain't lying. If he say you did it, I know you did it. So I believe if we can when we give them something from the people who they know, like, because at the end of the day, like, yeah, the school, the teachers, the administrators, they do get frustrated, and they are only human. So sometimes they say things that they probably shouldn't say in a way that they probably shouldn't say it.
But yeah, that's what I talk to the children about that in after school detention. Like, I tell them, I say, if I say something to you I shouldn't say, only thing I'm trying to teach you is go home and tell your parents. Don't cuss me back out, because by the time your parents get involved,
you ain't got nothing to fight.
The school district's so busy telling them what you did to me that your parents don't have enough ground to fight on for you. But if you stay in a child's place, go home and tell your parents, Miss Mcgill said something to me that I think was inappropriate. And if your parents agree, then they come pull me and we have a conversation and I get corrected or however I get dealt with. But what takes power from the children getting that type of support is they cuss the parents, the adult back out. You didn't down, you done said this and that and the other until by the time they get to the office, the focus ain't even on what the original problem was. It's not even on what Miss Mcgill said. It's what you done did. You done slammed the door, took your hand and ran across the teacher's desk and threw everything down. I mean, like, come on. And they have to laugh. They be laughing and agreeing with me. I say, because that's what y'all do. Y'all know that, and they be like, you right, Miss Mcgill. I say, I know I'm right. I witness it all the time. I give them examples of how I taught my children not to do that. So there were times when I was able to stand in the room and fight for my children when the adult was wrong.
Yeah. So look, rather say, everyone who works with these children do not have their best interests at heart. So some people I would never listen to in regards to children. And that's absolutely right. Because listen, but I saw some of them.
And keep voicing your opinion. Keep showing up and letting them know, like, hey, I know what they said. Like, we need y'all.
Yeah. Because I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to even lie, man. Listen, this is what I tell the kids, and this is what I try to get them to understand, right? As adults, they have their own problems and situations that they got going on at home, right? And when they get to school, they don't leave those problems in the car. They bring them in. You, as a child, have a certain set of problems and situations that you got going on, right? And just like you got them, you don't leave them on the bus or leave them in the car and your mama take them with you. You bring them in here with you. And at some point, there becomes like a clash of problems. And 9 times out of 10, no matter what happened, the kid will be wrong. When it gets back to the principal, it doesn't really matter what you did, man. The teachers them gonna win. So you gotta understand how to do that, man. And I tell them, by you getting frustrated, mad, and going off on it, that's not gonna help you, right? Because there are some administrators that I look at them and I'm like, this man, listen, I pray that them kids don't go tell their parents that. You know what I'm saying? Because I understand we all go through it, but at the end of the day, this is becoming like a problem that we have to really start looking at stuff from all different angles and saying, hey, what could we all do and look at from our own angle and see where we are part of the problem so we can become part of the solution.
That's right.
Yeah, and rather say just like there are bad students, there are also bad people who work with them. You are absolutely right. We are not disputing that at all. Like I work with some of them. I see it all day long. Man, listen, you don't know how much I fight for them kids. It makes me so mad because some of them who get it.
Hey, I'm not fighting for them because I didn't got into it with teachers and situations behind children. So, baby, no, everybody's not good, but that's why I'm saying if you all create a safe space for your children to come home and tell you these things, and then you come and have the right kind of conversation with the adults, that's also teaching them like you can't come in there cussing and screaming and calling everybody all kind of bees and da 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 da. You're not gonna get nothing out of the situation by you coming in disrespectfully mad. Like you can express your anger without being disrespectful.
Yeah, now I've witnessed that though, man. And then I saw it a lot of times with kids who I know are doing crazy stuff, tripping, like, and you got your parents down there fighting for you because all they going by is what you told them, right? Because I remember when I was coming up, man, I thank God that even though I gave them teachers a whole lot to tell on me about, but even if they would have lied, my mama was gonna believe whatever the teacher told them. It don't matter what they told them. Whatever them folks say you did, that's what you did. But now it's different. Like when the teachers call and they telling on the kids, now as soon as the kid get home, they say, well, you know, your teacher called me, what happened? Like I've witnessed a kid call his mama on the phone in 21st century and say, hey, school gonna call you. But look, mind you now, he just told me 5 minutes ago what happened, and he was all the way in the wrong. And say, man, yeah, they're gonna call you, talking about I was fighting and stuff. But man, that kid keep on picking up on me. He be picking on me, telling me to be quiet. And she said, yeah, like I said, if he keep messing with you, you better bust him upside his head. And I'm like, whoa.
Yep. I just this week where the teacher called home and the parent was just like, well, she says this isn't happening, this ain't happening. And then the little girl came back, she asked the teacher first, she said, did you write me up? Did you call my mama? And he looking and he said, no, I didn't call your mama. And she looked at me and she said, did you? I turned around and looked around. I said, who you talking to? I'm talking to you. I say, no, you couldn't be addressing me like that. I say, because you know, that's not how I get down with y'all. So when you come to me correctly, like I'm a grown person, like I'm an adult that deserves respect, then we can have a conversation. I say, and your conversation should say something like this. Miss Mcgill, can I speak with you outside? I say, because we're not going to have this conversation in front of the whole class. Now, Mr. So-and-so can answer you, but no, that's not how you're going to talk to me. And we're not going to have this conversation in the classroom. She say, well, why you can't just answer me? I just kept looking around because I don't argue with children. They tell you that I have 2 conversations with you. By the second conversation, I just ignore you. And if you keep being disrespectful, I'm already on my phone writing you up, quote unquote, they said. And then we can take it to the office and have a conversation. But I give them the utmost respect, even when they don't respect me. And that's what I'm known for around the school. Like, I'm not going to get into a battle with your children because I've been there long enough to know there are some children losing, don't care they losing, and don't care to take my life. So I don't put myself in that situation with them.
Yeah. Now that's real though. But you
and
know
I,
me, man.
A lot of teachers, when I tell them that, they'll be like, Miss Mcgill, why you ain't say nothing back? I say, baby, that child is losing, don't know he losing, and has no problem making me lose my life or my credibility or my job or whatever. I said, I know I'm winning and I'm going to continue to win by always respecting them, even when they don't respect me. I don't, you can ask. I don't argue with children. I'm going to have 2 conversations with you.
And you know what? And that's good too, though, because I'm not gonna lie. That's one thing that I had to talk with some people about, seeing people actually going back and forth and arguing with them, and I mean, like really like having a real argument.
Yes, and I'm like, that's a child. I seen a teacher at the end of the year. Now this child we've been having a problem with his cell phone all year. You wait till the last day of school to snatch his phone. And he jumped on her. But he showed us all year long that he was the type of child that was capable of doing it. So what did you think you was going to get out of that situation? I mean, you got to know what you're working with, which is one of the things I tell the school, my people all the time. I really feel like you have to have certain skills. Like, I thank God didn't just throw me in there. Like, I teach anger management. I eat, sleep, and breathe what I teach. I teach anger management. I teach parenting classes. I deal with a lot of type of people from in the world. So I didn't walk in there just totally outgoing. Sometimes people just looking for a job. I remember when I first became a parent, people were saying on Facebook, like, they just looking for a job. They not even invested. And I was like, I don't know who they talking about, because they can't be talking about me. Because I know God sent me here for a reason. But you got to be vested in these children. You got to know that sometimes they don't care about losing their freedom, their life, or nothing. That's just how bad it is in their personal life. And if you can't help them, by God's sake, don't hurt them. And that's I'm not going to hurt you if I can. But I'm not saying that keep arguing with you, having this argument with a child.
Yeah. Yeah, nah, but like, man, at the end of the day, I feel like this is really like a group effort that really needs to be looked at. Some real conversations need to be had, like some community town hall meetings need to be set up where people who kids are in these schools are actually willing to come and listen and talk about this stuff, man, because we really got, man, right around here, man. It's so much greatness around here.
This is our these children are our future. They will be making decisions for us one day. And it's frightening and alarming that in the 8th grade, they can't read, they can't spell, they can't write. They can't even tell time on an old-fashioned clock without the new kind of time on your iPad or your Apple phone or Apple. They can't tell time, dog. They asking me how to spell bread. A little girl, she wrote a nice note to me, but she misspelled watch. Where? I forgot what else she put on there, and I was trying to show. She say, I wish I hadn't even wrote you the letter now, because you trying to. I said, but I'm trying to teach you.
I'm just trying to help you.
I spell these words. And she was like, I mean, I had to just hug on her. And I tell them all the time, I said, I wish I could take you home. I'd whoop you for 15 minutes and I'd hug you for 15 minutes. But I whoop you for 15 minutes. But then I'd hug you for 15 more minutes. Because I just hugged her. I say, listen, I'm coming from a good place. I love you. I say, but if you was to go fill out a job application right now, they wouldn't put you no more than to put fries in a basket, because they could tell if you can't write that well, simple words like this in the 8th grade, surely you're not capable of handling anything else. And when I broke down to her like that, she was like, okay, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah. Nah, and they got to be told that, because a lot of them really just don't even, like, I was talking to my partner. He said, Doc, man, they don't know how to change tires. He said, man, like, some of them don't even really know how to keep their hygiene up. You don't see how musty they be?
When you were saying about the little boy jumping up and going to having to hurry get to school because he late, right there, the Holy Spirit said, and don't forget about the hygiene part, because I stay on them about that. I say, if you know your parents been buying the same deodorant for you since you was 5 years old, you need to open up your mouth and tell your parents that deodorant doesn't work for me anymore. It's no sense walking around here holding your arms like this, praying don't nobody smell you, because trust me, they smell you. Then you want to fight when they say something, and they gonna say something. When they come through my door, I'm the first person most of my children see. And so I'm smelling them coming through the door, and it's sad and just, I mean, some of them look like their face ain't been washed, their hair haven't been touched, let alone combed. They still wearing them same hoodies, look like they haven't been in the washing machine since they got them from the store. Like basic grooming. That's why I get on here before going back to school from Christmas break. Wash them hoodies, wash them backpacks. If you ain't bought no pencils since August, it's time to replenish some stuff. If them markers is dry, it's time to buy some new markers, man, or ask somebody for help. It's all kind of resources out here. But we can only help them to the extent that they let us know they need it. But sometimes I know life get overwhelming. You get off of work, your children go to their room, you go to your room. You tell them to go in there and find something to eat, and they just go to bed hungry. They wake up the next day, y'all running late, get in the car, drop them off. Now they still hungry, mad, and we got to deal with all that while trying to teach them within a 50-minute span.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a
So
lot.
yeah, no, it's definitely a conversation that needs to be had, man. Cause just me being around it all day and seeing them on Mondays and Wednesdays, man, it breaks my heart for them. But it also gives me a fuel and a fresh wow, man, because I know, you know what I'm saying? And so we just gotta stay diligent, man, and let the main thing be the main thing. And I believe some amazing stuff finna happen, man.
Let the main thing be the main thing. That's gonna be the title for this segment we just did.
Yeah, let the main thing be the main thing. So man, I appreciate you giving me 45 minutes of your Martin Luther King date. You know what I'm saying?
Martin Luther King would be proud of us. We trying to
Absolutely.
make the dream come alive.
We doing what he went and fought for us to be able to do this here. Yeah. So man, I appreciate you, and we'll be tapping in, man. All right.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All right.